another way to produce group of 5 is to actually hammer on a note, right? So you can do like so I'm hammering on the first note, and then I'm doing 4 on this hand. But it's pretty cool. It's just basic addition. So say I wanted to do a group of 7, and I only know how to do a double stroke and use these 2 fingers. I can combine a group of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a group of 4. So you can kind of get different note groups like that. And what's cool about it is, obviously, timbrally, it sounds like you're, that my downstroke sounds different than my upstroke, and then my index finger sounds different than my thumb, and my middle, so you get all this sort of velocity variation, and the notes you're producing has a very cool sound. Then you can kind of start, actually, let me go back. So, in using these groups of 3s, here's a cool little exercise if you do want to work this stuff out. This is kind of intermediate after you've gotten the basic mobility down, but I've started just doing a simple, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So ascending with all my fingers. Then I subtract a finger each time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. That'd be the last one. And you get a pound like this. That's just percussive, so if you want to add some notes, this is actually like a newer riff I'm working on. It sounds a lot better on an 8-string than it would like on the Stratocaster or something like that.
Where did you pick the technique up?
There was a bass player I was playing with, Evan Brewer. I don't know if he has an album out now. He plays in the Faces as well. But he had learned it from Reggie Wooten, who's Victor Wooten's older brother, who's like world-class bass player. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say that they like made it up or whatever. Like they're the first dudes to do it. But it's kind of like. It's kind of their thing, and I learned it by way of Evan, and I've tried to like expand upon it specifically through like not playing funk or whatever, just using it for odd note groupings and really syncopated phrases in odd meter. It's kind of what I like to do with it. Thanks. Well, I'm going to do a little bit more about slapping. The guitar is a melodic instrument, obviously, so the cool thing about this is you can start to incorporate notes and just get some interesting sounding melodic stuff. Introduce it into triads and various other, just simple 3-note chords. And it sounds, I don't even know what it sounds like. A banjo, maybe? Maybe it sounds like a banjo. Hopefully not. But anyway, you should mess around with it. It's pretty fun. Just start with the down-up thing. maybe jump octaves and then go from there. Yeah.
It sounds very Satriani-ish. I had to say it.
Satriani, yeah. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, he's got a tune. I think he uses delay to get the effect. Oh God, I hope you didn't see that. I love Satriani. You got a question?
Yeah, mate. It's more about your harmony on the Weightless album. Do you find that you try and derive your harmony from people like Alan Holdsworth, Greg Howe, Brett Garcett, if you've heard of him? He's an
I've heard of him, yeah. Excellent player.
From the Gold Coast. You know how they use a lot of augmented, diminished sort of harmony? I found a lot more of that on the Weightless album.
There is way more of it, and I'm glad you noticed.
Did you consciously try and get their sort of sound, or?
What actually happened is the first album's material is actually quite a few years old, and so this represents where I was with my guitar playing then. By the time I got around to recording Weightless, most of that material was post-music school stuff, and I, learned modes of melodic minor and harmonic minor, and so that harmony had crept into my playing, but it just wasn't really on the first album as much. But yeah, it's kind of where I'm at these days. I really like challenging harmony. Like, I'm not as out as Holdsworth, but it's kind of in the same direction.
Yeah, no one's as out as Holdsworth.
I know. So
yeah, I kind of found that on the first harmony, it was a lot of major harmony. A lot of
all like basic major scale stuff. Which, dude, you could probably write a lifetime's worth of material with just diatonic major scale harmony and not really, feel like you're missing out on anything. But if you want to get weird, whole tone and augmented major triads and stuff like that, which is stuff I really like because it's just a bit more compelling. It creates that all right, here's what I think most scales and modes kind of imply a tonality that pretty much is an emotion, right? So it's usually on the happy side of life or the negative side. And a lot of the modes of melodic minor and harmonic minor are combining, a major seventh but a minor third. And so now you've got this, sweet and sour thing happening, or this sort of bittersweet sort of thing creeping in. And I find it, I really like it. So that's kind of why I'm using that stuff. You got a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know. In Wave of Babies, the second repeat of the slap guitar riff, there's what sounds like a tap or a sweep riff over the top.
Yeah.
But I've never actually seen you play it.
Yeah,
You
okay.
didn't do it for the EMG 808 demonstration either, so I was just curious.
I forgot how to play it.
We've all done that.
It's like we were recording that song, and I'm sure you guys have recording rigs at home, and digital recording kind of allows you to jump in at a point in the song if you want to. And that riff was going, and I just started tapping out this thing, and it was sweet, but I never did it again after we recorded it. And I was I felt for the live situation, I actually needed to keep slapping because otherwise no one would be. Javier's kind of playing this octave sort of droning thing. So it made more sense for me to just keep doing the bass stuff. So
yeah, just really quickly, with the whole live thing, because I haven't actually seen you live, obviously. With stuff like that, do you just program the extra guitar riffs, or do you and Javier just basically make up live versions of each track?
No, I usually loop whatever he and I can't do, and it's rare that it's more than 3 parts that we need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of loop it live. Yeah. All right, you got a question?
Yeah, I have a question about technique. You didn't do so much in Wave Babies, but in a couple of songs where you're doing the two-hand tapping stuff, where you're doing a riff rather than a lead line. I've been experimenting trying to do that stuff. How do you get such a clean sound from doing right-hand tapping, especially on a clean tone?
Yeah.
When I play it, it sounds like I'm hitting the string.
Yeah. Okay. You have to tap hard. Is how that works. I don't know any other. Slow enough where you've got quite a bit of volume, even volume, whether it's your left or right hand, and then sustain is important because it shows you have control over every note that you're producing, right? So, I take whatever you would want it to tap and slow it down on a clean tone, And if you can, at a slow to moderate tempo, if you can get every note to hang, sustain, then you're probably hitting it hard enough. And if it sounds even, whether you're tapping or fretting, then you're going to produce an even sound when you've got it up to speed.
So it's more about like the strength of your fingers, or is there also an element of your tone involved as well, like having the right pickups to pick up the...
Oh, yeah, there's some help, like compression. I got a lot of stuff in this rack, but compression basically takes the lowest notes and brings them up to a certain point that you want it, and takes the loudest notes and keeps those down. And what it does is produce a very even output. But so if you use pedal still, you can just get like any sort of compression pedal. It'll help, but I wouldn't want to use that while developing the technique because it's a bit of a crutch, But once you've got it up and you can do it either way, it'll help to cut, in a mix or something, you throw some compression on there. But what kind of tapping are you doing? You doing more like the stuff like that?
I'm trying to do riff stuff that you do, like not anywhere as complicated as you have.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. There's stuff you can do while holding a chord, right? Like using the chord as a capo. So you can just tap out I'm playing E major 7. You could use anything in the key. You could tap any, so you could do like an A flat minor or something. So basically, like you could, visualize the scale and tap that out with your right hand while holding the fixed chord here. And it's really kind of got this harp-like sort of sound or something, which is pretty cool. Another more unique approach to tapping is this is kind of like if you have an 8 string or something, but you can kind of do a bass line and then kind of comp chords with your right hand.
Yeah, that's the stuff I've been trying to do.
Okay, you should learn this song. Stuff like that. There might be some inaccurate tab for that song somewhere on the internet. Get you on your way. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you want to do the bass and sort of comping chord thing, just think of a riff that's basically going to make you practice that. So write a riff that has, obviously a bass line that you can manage without, So you have to be able to actually have your left hand independently produce this bass line, right? And then what you want to do is identify when your hands are hitting at the same time, and then when they're hitting at opposite times. And slowing it down is the best way to do that, So you figure out what you want your right hand to do. In this case, I'm just going. There's 2 chords, right? So the first 2 on my left hand and right hand, the first notes come down together. And when I change chords, they actually attack at the same time. So it's actually not that difficult at all. You just, dude, I think if you slow anything down, your brain basically is able to pick it up within, a reasonable amount of time. And that's usually the key to doing things that are really hard. Do them slow for long enough. Muscle memory, You've got a question.
I'm just wondering if the T.R.A.M album is still coming out at the end of the month, and if it'll be on iTunes in Australia. Okay. T.R.A.M is like a more jazz fusion sort of side project that I started. It's supposed to come out on the 28th, and I don't know if it's an international release. This one's one.
Well, yeah, I know that you can get it. I just don't know if the release date is the same for Australia as it is for North America. But I don't know. I keep go on the internet or whatever.
If you can find it, I said that'd be great. If you download it, you know, I still love you. You got one?
In regards to like recording, like you guys did the engineering and mixing for the newest album on like as a group on your own. Like, what kind of signal chain do you use? Does it all come from the aspects, or are you using mics and amps, or?
No mics and making a album. It's this box is pretty crazy. I think it sounds great, and we basically use this for all the guitars, and then we shot a kit, so we could track Naveen's performances as MIDI, but then the actual sounds are sampled drum audio from Superior Drummer 2.0. Yeah, which I don't know. I guess some people feel some way about doing that, but you can come see us live and see us doing it. If you have any doubts or whatever. You got one?
Do you teach Naveen some tricks or?
Do I teach Naveen tricks?
Yeah.
Like on guitar or what?
Yeah, on guitar.
Yeah, I taught him how to sweep like a long time ago. He's a really good guitar player, but it's more of just he's a very metal guitar player, and he hasn't really studied a lot of harmony, but he has a good ear, so he writes some pretty cool melodic, riffs. But yeah, I show him stuff every now and again. Yeah.
How much does it cost for lessons with you?
Lessons? I've been charging $60 an hour.
Really?
$1 a minute. Do you have a question?
Yeah, before that, is his name Adrian Terreras or something?
Terrasis, yeah.
Yeah, what's he like to play? Because he's from Mars Volta, right?
Yeah, he's basically got his master's in jazz. He's actually a flute player.
Yeah, I knew that.
He's like a 6-foot Mexican flute player.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah, he's great. I think he did a really good job over the riffs I threw at him, and playing with him was an amazing experience just because he's such a strong, improvisational player that he's got a lot of melodic ideas that are pretty heady, and I'm still trying to figure out what he's talking about. But that's kind of like been the benefit of playing with him, just